Hey, Roberto Monaco here, and welcome to our call. We have a very, very special friend here, Dr. Z. Dr. Zaino, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Roberto?
I'm super excited that you're hanging out with us today. So today, the theme of the call is advocating or becoming an advocate. So before I tell the definition from the dictionary, let me tell you why I come up with this theme, and I want to have a discussion with you today. Is because Dr. Z and I have been working for what, 2.5 years, almost 3 years now.
Yep.
And then obviously, if you don't know, Dr. Z is the ultimate rock star, chiropractor, leader, thought leader, influencer. Probably he has one of the largest practice ever in the history of the profession. And I was so blown away by it. And when I started traveling to chiropractor events, I noticed that there's a lot of people, a lot of doctors who care, have a big heart, who went pretty much the same school, have the same technique, and they are creating 10 times less impact than you are. And I'm like, why is that? It's not like you have 10 times more hours than they do, you know? So in my mind, I'm like, what is it? And then one day, I saw a post of you on Facebook. I don't know if you remember, but you were speaking in this tiny corner office. You're in a corner, literally, in a corner, and there's like maybe 5 people, and you're like, dude, and it says something along the lines of like, I don't care, whatever these people want to be speaking, or something like that.
Yeah. Doesn't matter, hallway is a hallway.
Exactly. There's a picture, I'm like, dude, I cannot believe it. And then I'm like, that's it, man. It's because he's an advocate, right? Because he's out there communicating the chiropractic message all the time. So here's the definition of advocate, okay? Number 1, verb, to speak or write in favor of, to recommend publicly, right? He advocates health for his community. Or noun, a person who speaks or writes in support or defense of a person or cause. He's an advocate for health and wellness. And I think, but you're the perfect example of an advocate. So I want to first thank our call here. So question number 1, why are you a chiro advocate?
When I found the most effective thing I do in the office is getting the message out. Like if we went out to the public and say, what is a chiropractor, what is chiropractic, they don't know what it is. Because if they did know what it was, then more than 2 or 3% would be going to chiropractor, right? So I realized that having a sign above your office that says chiropractor doesn't mean anything. Having shiny, blinky objects or fancy contraptions or decompression tables is not going to be the one. Having a fancy ad is not going to do it. You know, I just went back to the most influential form of advocating, and that was like you say, one-to-one or one-to-many communication. Because then they understand what it's about. They get to know who you are. You get to share your passion, and it's like kind of the Pied Piper effect. And that's what I do. So in the Woodlands here where I live, there's no sign. The biggest sign you could have is 3 feet off the ground. Like McDonald's sign is 3 feet off the ground. So there's no location. Everything's behind trees, and there's no big signage. There's no big billboards. Okay. So you literally have to go out and fish. And really, and the way I fish is I go out there, I get to teach innate, I get to teach the principle of chiropractic, and those people choose whether to do something about it or at least polarize the room, and they decide not today or plant a seed. So it's kind of like the parable of the sower. You know, so the seed is the truth that I speak and communicate and influence, and that message falls on different types of soil, and it reaps, you know, literally 100-fold return on investment, 100-fold pre-qualified patients, and at the same time, I truly feel that I'm living out my sole purpose by telling this truth. You know, so that's why I'm an advocate.
I love it. And how, if you people like, okay, I got the why, and how do you do specifically? What are the different formats of advocating your message?
I mean, back in the day, you know, I would do screenings, I would do trade shows, I would do ads in the paper. I would do all these things, go into networking groups, all this sort of stuff. Okay. And I worked really long hours. Long hours with very, very small results. It was so frustrating. And then I started doing dinners where I started speaking and explaining that, and that really became the big thing. So my main thing is speaking. So it's the same talk, whether it be at a dinner, at someone's home, at someone's work, at someone's church. It's the same structure. I reframe it here and there, but that became the most important thing we do. And in fact, because that became the most important thing, you know, we haven't done a screening in years. We don't do trade shows. We don't do, the only time, if they want me to do anything, I got to pay for it. You got to put me in front of people. So my main thing is you put me in front of people, and I'll take care of the rest. So that's all I do is just speaking.
That is pretty unbelievable because you do have one of the biggest practices, if not the biggest one ever, and you rely in one primarily marketing tool, and you just do super well. And obviously, they speaking not only outside speaking that you do in churches, in companies, in the dinners, that you're the best guy doing that, but also you advocate and you create a culture. Can you talk about a little about the events you do for your patients too? I saw some pictures on Facebook where you have like hundreds of people come to see your talks, and can you talk about that too?
Yeah. So the whole idea of speaking is when I go outside to speak to people, I want to start that culture right away.
Okay.
I want to make sure that they are pre-qualified patients coming in the door. So when they come into my office, when someone's a new patient, they come in my office, they're already pre-qualified. I mean, they know price, they know roughly they know the price, they know what to expect, what not to expect, what is required. So they really know coming in the door, it's almost a formality. Now we go from there.
Okay.
For my patients, once you're a patient, I do an advanced talk every single month on different topics. That's where I'll speak nutrition and all these other things.
Okay.
But it's always layered in the frame of chiropractic first, food second, fitness third. And that gives me a time to really incorporate. If I notice in my office there's trends, people are stressed out, I'm going to hit that directly. Not in the form of stress, but as far as chiropractic. Like, no miss your appointments because it's the holidays.
Yep.
We were slammed this morning. Why? Because, hey, I let them know, because it's Good Friday, this is something where you need to take care of your health. So I see the trend, and then in those advanced talks, I'm able to use it as a soapbox along with the subject to get something across that we start seeing.
I love that.
Tax season's coming, So then what we do is, my main goal from an outside talk, my whole main goal at the end of the day is a lifetime VIP patient. My main goal is this: that someone is my patient for the rest of their life, and they do chiropractic in my office for the rest of their life, because when I have over 1,400 VIP patients, and what that means for myself and anybody as a doctor is you never ever will ever be needy again when it comes to getting new patients.
Can you explain VIP, because I don't think everybody understands. Can you explain VIP patients for the people who are not listening to?
So a VIP, so this is it. So when someone is done with their corrective care, they only have one option. They actually have two options, but the only option I give them is lifetime maintenance. You're going to be this many times per month for the rest of your life. Let me see your credit card or your bank draft. We're going to auto-debt it. It's going to be part of your overhead, cheaper than your phone bill and cable. We'll never talk money again. We're here for life. And then that's the only option I give them. I guess the second option is they don't choose to do that, and they're not a patient anymore, but they're going to quit anyway. So we have 1,400 people that are doing that. And so it builds this culture, it builds a family. So I could grow old with these people together. And I know they're getting the maximum benefit of an optimal, clear nervous system. One adjustment helps, of course, but how about lifetime chiropractic care? That changes their biography.
I love that. Right? So how long have you been doing these monthly talks for your patients?
Is this the event talks or the dinners? Which one?
No, the internal events for your patients. How long have you been doing them?
I've been doing them since almost 10 years.
Wow. And it's cool too, because it's almost like you move beyond. I don't want to say you move beyond chiropractic, but you expand their paradigm of what health is, right? It's kind of like, I love that.
Well, Roberto, if I went, and this is why I love working with you and stuff. Most chiropractors they say, well, I do a dinner and I get a talk and I just don't get the results they want, and they get frustrated.
Yep.
So here's the thing: if you get frustrated over and over and over again, you either could get better at it, but a lot of times you're frustrated, you think you're doing the right things, but there's blind spots you don't realize. So after a while of getting frustrated or rejected, so to speak, even though it's not really rejection, the one way to do is eliminate that from your life so you don't get that negative feedback anymore. And so what I noticed that chiropractors come out and say, hey, I'm Dr. Joe Smith, a chiropractor. And all of a sudden, what happens in the people's minds is when they hear the term chiropractor, all of a sudden they put on the lenses that of all the preconceived condition of what they thought chiropractic is. So if you said I'm a chiropractor, and I'd be like, I don't have a back pain, I don't have a neck pain, you're tuned out.
Yeah. So that's why, by the way, guys, for those who listen to us, Dr. Z in the end of this call, by the way, you have to be a member to listen to. He's gonna teach you and me and us a powerful tool that relates to that. Anyway.
So there you go. So I realized that, people don't know. People have a preconception of what chiropractic is, but if you just talk the principle and the truth of laws of life, everybody gets it. Everybody agrees with it. And because that, then when you tell them that is chiropractic, I officially took I actually now linked up chiropractic with its true meaning and what it really is, that they could truly understand, and then they have approval. But if I go out there and say I'm this, I'm that, and we use stuff, they're like, I don't have back pain, neck pain. My mom said never to go to chiropractic. Like they're already out, and they're just you tuned down, and you got so much hard work. So versus going in and saying, hey, listen, what's your greatest asset? And people were like, well, our health. Okay, so if health's your greatest asset, what is it? What do you base it off of? And you get to you expose that people are on the wrong. They have the wrong map.
Yep.
Here they're given a map that leads them in a very wrong direction, and my job is to give them the right map so they could save their lives. And so that's kind of the
love
mindset.
that. So now, because you're able to advocate the message so congruently and powerfully and effectively, and you look at the other doctors who also care, who have their hearts in the right place, who went to school, who works in technique. So why do you think, in overall, stop most of the doctors from advocating the message at that higher level? What stopped them?
Well, I think that's what we just said. They have blind spots.
Specifically,
and they feel they did a good talk.
Okay.
And a lot of times the chiropractors explain the principle the best, but when it comes to the close, they fall apart.
Okay.
Because they think the close is selling versus they don't see the close as giving them the opportunity of a lifetime.
Yep.
It's just they're trying to build too much rapport. They get nervous, or because of the blind spots, they're doing things that are actually turning off the listeners. And because of that, they're not getting the results they want. And when you don't get the results you want, you see it as hard work. You see it as negative feedback, and you're only gonna abuse yourself so much before you say, "Screw this, I'm done with it." And then you're gonna spend a lot of money in advertising all the other things that are so ineffective. I mean, as far as cost to profit, at the end of the day, and return on really, but it's not just cost to profit, it's just people really getting it and understanding. So it's the blind spot. So you could be the best race car driver. I love cars. It could be beautiful out, sunny, but then you're going 100 miles an hour, but there's blind spots.
Yep.
And that's why they have teams, and they're talking to them. And so, hey, there's a car here. There's a turn coming up. So if you don't see these blind spots, you're going to crash emotionally, physically, and then you might falsely assume that something so powerful like speaking isn't for you, or you're introverted. Then because what happens is we don't like to take personal responsibility a lot. So then we have to start blaming things. It's my personality. It's not my personality. I'm introverted. My town, it doesn't work for these people, because we have to. Because if we're not improving, we have to put the cause on something else. And again, it destroys your potential.
Yeah, that's the. I actually know a lot of professionals that spoke once and twice and it stopped. But if I had my share of failure, my share of failure.
You go to the gym once or twice?
No.
No, you brush your teeth once or twice?
No.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, so it's that fear.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have a good experience. Yeah. And a lot of times people think, well, I saw someone do a dinner or I saw someone do a talk, I could do that. But they have no idea what's really behind it. Literally the science, the language. It's an entire universe that you're not even aware of, and it's going on. And so that's why it's 30 layers deeper than someone may see on the outside.
And I love one of the things that you do. You have a product about the doctor's report. You call the masterpiece, because really is a masterpiece. Like every line, every word is like people have no clue. They'd be like, I have some slides. I got some slides from another doctor. I'm gonna just show it. Dude, it's like they have no idea.
We worked on that for months, Roberto. We worked on that for months.
Yes,
months.
I love that.
Like, by months, it's Roberto and I going back and forth for months, writing versions out, and just like it was. But that's the thing, we practice between our performances. That's another. I think a lot of doctors, they go out and win it, but the game is won off the field.
Yes.
how you practice, how you know, my job, speaking's my main thing with adjusting. I got to become the best there. So I'm practicing in between events. I don't feel that I have it. I'm always sharpening the story.
I love that.
Sharpening the story, practicing.
I'm trying to remember Tony Robbins' line, you get rewarded in public by how you practice in private, or something on the lines. It's so true. Right? So here's a question, Ted. You have been a chiropractor for 10 years.
Yeah.
What information do you wish that you had when you're starting out? What do you wish you knew 10 years ago?
I wish to communicate the message, you know, because they never taught us that in school. What happened is, in fact, I didn't have a predictable message, meaning that every time I spoke or every time I even introduced myself, it was always something different.
Okay.
You know, I didn't have this specifically, you know, scientific language pattern designed that could give me predictable results. So I would speak and wing it, and I had unpredictable results that were unsuccessful. I had to rely on passion and energy, which is very exhausting.
Very exhausting.
Versus true leadership. So I wasn't effectively leading my community. And I mean, I remember I did some lunch and learns, and I quit for over a year because I just didn't like the results I was getting. And I said, well, I'll pick it up in a month or two, and it became over 13 months.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's something like oh my God. I mean, my wife and I sitting in the vitamin shop for hours just to get 2 or 3 people, sitting in the mall, tracking down people to get their spine scanned, and just all this stuff. You know. Where I could do a dinner, and in 35 minutes, you know, we could get 40 to 50 pre-qualified paying new patients, versus a screening or a home show. It would take me 18 to 20 hours over the weekend to get even half those results, and they were less pre-qualified. So the efficiency, and then evangelizing that or being able to get the message across. There's something about speaking that it's not just speaking, but it's seeing people's paradigms change in front of you. You see people change.
And you know something you just caused me to think about? I always talk about the person who sets the frame wins the game. Right?
Always.
So if you think about it, if the first time they see you as a doctor, and you are this powerhouse delivering an amazing life-changing message, dude, you set the frame here.
Yeah.
All right? So that's really cool, and I never thought about the way in terms of like the dinners that you do, where for most people, obviously you have some patients there, but for most people, it's the first time they see you.
Yeah, and I come in, boom.
Boom.
You know.
I love that.
It's the best. Yeah,
love it.
I mean, it's the best what I have.
So you do a lot of things. Obviously, you have a killer team, which I met most of them. You adjust, and you have other doctors, and you have chiropractic leaders. And you develop. So from the things that you do in your practice, what is your number one favorite thing?
It's Monday night. It's those dinners. You know, I love adjusting and removing the interference, but I could adjust someone and that person still may not get it here. So my whole thing is if that person could get the message here and understand the principle, or if I could change here, if I could change their lives by shifting their mind. So the most important thing I do to shift their mind is through the talk. So the dinners are my most favorite. Like, nothing feels as rewarding as leaving a dinner. I mean, like, and I could go by just a pure adrenaline drug-like effect,
okay,
you know, so to speak. That would be when I leave the dinner. Like, you know, I don't leave my office after adjusting going, oh my, you know, like, I mean, I'm happy and joyful for doing what I do, but there's just this level of satisfaction and that nothing can compare to after I do a dinner.
When you do the dinners on Monday evenings,
yeah,
what is your pre-ritual before?
What do you mean, my pre-ritual?
Yeah, before the dinner, are you adjusting? You go right into it. You take some time off. You go meditate. What is 1 or 2 things you do before the dinners, before you speak?
Well, I'm done adjusting at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
The dinner starts at 7.
Okay.
So, you know, I come home. You know, I get ready for the dinner.
Yeah.
I get to the dinner about a half hour before, so about 6:30.
Okay.
And then I have my dinner stuff, you know, my papers here, and I just kind of go over it. And when I look over it, it gets me into the dinner mode. You know what I mean? Because my brain's doing this all day, so that gets me focused on dinner. And what I like to do is when I'm ready, you know, I walk in that restaurant at 7.
Okay.
You know, by then the menus are picked up, everything's ordered, and I literally walk in the door and hit it. And then when I'm done, I walk right out. So it's like I don't like waiting around.
Got
I
it.
just stay in the car. I'm ready, like a fighter. I go in there. I do it. I give it the best I got, and I leave. I don't stay around because I gave the best I had. So anything more, if I stay around, I'm just needy. I'm just trying to get people's approval.
Got it.
And I'm not there for their approval. I'm there to speak a message that's going to change their life. Because if I'm trying to seek their approval and I'm needy, it just doesn't work very well.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
So I know I know a lot of doctors they want to go back and be everybody's friend, but there's a difference between a friend and a leader.
Yep.
You know?
I love that. I love that. So, by the way, Dr. Z, again, is going to teach you a very powerful communication tool. And I promise you, you'll love it. So, if you want to make sure you get this tool, make sure you just register for free. Don't have to pay anything to our site. And we're going to send a tip for you. Last question here, bud. From everything you've done, now you can talk about life stuff now. What is one of your most important lessons you have learned? Could it be about life? Could it be a chiropractic? What's like, if you look back, I know it's a loaded question because there's so many lessons, but looking back now where you are with your life, the results, the successes and failures that you have been through, what is one of the most important lessons that you want to share?
Well, there are three.
Okay.
And I could tell you the three.
Okay, love it.
Okay, number one, you take personal responsibility over your life and your actions and the results.
Okay.
So no matter what the results are, you take personal responsibility. You can't change the past, but you can decide what to do now in the future.
Okay.
So you don't blame this person and that, but like you take personal responsibility. And what seems like a bad event or something that went wrong or a mistake, that's not a failure. That's a learning experience. And so I love those times because I learn from. So it's like life is always teaching me. So number one, you take personal responsibility. You don't blame anybody else.
Okay.
If you don't like your life, it's your fault. All right. Number two, you become resourceful. Okay, that means that resourceful means that you find a way where there is no way. Sometimes you got to become creative. You got to think of a new idea outside the box. Whatever it takes. It really is whatever it takes. And here's the thing: you don't have to be 20% better or 20% above the rest to be successful. Sometimes it's really the 0.05%. It's this little much separates a huge success from someone who's not really doing well. It's not like just a little bit. And the third one is you just don't quit. I mean, that's the thing. Like if you set your mind to it, you just don't quit, because you never win if you don't quit. And I'll add a fourth one that I just added to it. You don't want to be a smooth talker. You want to be a smooth doer. There's too many smooth talkers.
I like that. That's a good power line, buddy. I love that.
So what's a smooth talker? But you could use that, by the way. A smooth talker is the chiropractor that gets online. They tell everybody how they're saving the world, how they're changing lives. They get out there, they Facebook all their great stuff. But when they're saying all of this on one end, but when you see the results, they're smooth talkers. They're not smooth doers. And I'll take a smooth doer every day.
I love that.
But a smooth talker, most smooth talkers are not smooth doers. They're the one that say they'll do all this stuff and then they don't deliver. So I'm not an eloquent speaker, but I'm a smooth doer.
Dude, I absolutely love that line. I love it. I love it. So now, before I'm going to have one more question, talk about Dr. Z resources for you to help you out. Again, make sure you register to our site here. It's free. Just put your name and email, and Dr. Z is going to... Oh, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. So that Dr. Z, though, I'm telling you, what he's going to share with you, game changing. All right. But before though, Z, I know you have a lot of resources. So to our listeners, what's the one thing that they could invest today that they will blow their practice up? What kind of offer do you have or recommendation resource for them?
Well, I got three.
Okay, I love the power of three, baby. That's it.
So number one, for those of you, who just are sitting there saying, well, I'm not sure about this guy, well, then I have something of goodwill for you. It's called Chiro Thought Leaders. Chiro, C-H-I-R-O, Thought, T-H-O-U-G-H-T, leaders.com. And that is everything I've ever done in my practice. It's all on video. It has all my thought leaders, just like Roberto and Garrett Gunderson and Tempo and Sapio. So you have videos, hours and hours of video, every system I do in my office, training, you name it, and it's all at no charge to you. It's free, all right? So there's no risk for you there, all right? It's just your time. Now, for those of you who are like, listen, I like what he's saying, and it's something where, hey, I want to definitely take this next step to just go that next level higher. The most important thing I do and the most successful thing I do in my office is the dinners to generate an avalanche of new patients. So we have something called the Dynamic Dinner, and it's at dynamicdinner.com, or you can see it on Chirothought Leaders, but it's Dynamic Dinner, and it's a great program. It's the original program that teaches you exactly everything, turnkey, on how to build dinners, create the dinners, the training behind the dinners, all the staff training, so it trains your staff to do all the other stuff. I have 3 versions of the dinner on there for you, one to train with. I have one where you actually could show in a dinner. We have doctors in over 22 countries. We have a handful of doctors that they're not ready, they feel they're not ready to speak yet, but they're doers. So they actually show the video in the dinner, and people are paying $40 and more, signing up 35 people by just showing
That's
the video.
fantastic. That's just fantastic.
So you have it all there. So no matter what level you're at, it's perfect for you. And that program's $1,500, so you can check that out. And then for those of you who are ready to take it to the next level, you're the exceptional person. You're like family to me. Then we have the Zaino experience. That's the Zaino, Z-A-I-N-O experience, EXPERIENCE.com. And that's when it's a full immersion 2-day seminar. You come to the office, we train you and your team for 2 full days, and you will learn absolutely everything. You'll see all the moving parts, and most of all, you'll be able to actually go back and run your practice according to your true authentic vision, and you'll know how it can be easy and be able to just free you up. And now that is $7,500 per office, but if you go on the site and you call, and because you watch this, I'm going to bring that down to $5,500. So you save $2,000 if you call within the next 2 days. All right. After that, it's back up to $7,500. But you got to mention that you saw Roberto and I doing this as well. And so that's the 3 levels. So depending what level of growth you want to get, free, intermediate, or ridiculously advanced, you have your levels.
So I have several friends, chiropractors, who rave about the Z experience, being like literally transformational. And is in school, because I don't know how often you do them, but eventually I see that my feed on Facebook, all the words like Dr. Z, transformation, 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 and I see you and them speak in your office. So make sure you check out the 3 resources that Dr. Z is for real, guys. It's for real. I know a lot because I do a lot of events for chiropractors. Sometimes doctors, they obviously know who you are, and they see your numbers and they think like, man, that's like too far. They'd be like, I cannot. They want to help as many people, but it's too far. I'm telling you that Dr. Z opened his heart, his playbook, and he teach you and his staff and his systems step by step by step by step how to get there or beyond. You just have to be a doer and take an action. So Dr. Z, I'm going to put the links for your resources here. And then the call is over. And if you want to get the best, we save the best for last. So register for free to Dr. Z have something special for you. Thanks so much, buddy. Appreciate that.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.